there, folks. My name is Janaki.
And this is Madame Bathsheba.
And together we are Catamancy Tarot. So, today we're going to do a fun little tag that I saw going around. I think this one was started by Spirited Stardust 11, and it's the mid-year tarot tag. So I apologize for kind of my lower frequency of posting videos this summer. I'm currently teaching a course at the University of Michigan. I'm teaching Anthropology of the Supernatural, and it's my first time kind of designing and building a course that I'm teaching all on my own, and I've been really stoked about it, but I've also been like completely overwhelmed with like lecture writing and grading, and it's an accelerated term, so the pace is really fast. So I haven't been watching or commenting or making videos as much as I would like to, but I thought I saw this tag going around, and it looked like it's got 10 questions, and I thought it was a fun way to kind of check in, see how the year's been going. So I think this tag was originally something that was going around on BookTube and then was adapted for Tarotland. So there's 10 questions, and if you want to follow along, I've listed the questions in the description box below. So let's get to it. I'll take you through my responses.
Alrighty, so our first question of the 10 is your favorite deck you've used so far in 2023, and I think this one's my favorite. This is a deck that I talked about in my last video that I was given as a gift, and it is the Solara Occulta, and this is the first edition with those big golden borders. And I think it's my favorite of the year. And this is a deck that I had kind of like given up on ever getting. I know that she's, she did the Kickstarter for the third edition, but I love these chunky gold borders. I think it makes the deck really, really cozy. I love the color scheme. I love all the critters in this deck. And I've gotten some like really, really good readings out of it so far this year. And I think it's my new fave. I've been using it a lot this summer, and it's RWS based, and so it that makes it kind of even cozier to me because I think that's the system. A lot of us are most familiar with, so it feels it was like very easy to kind of pick up and read, but still with images like this, I think there's enough kind of new stuff going on. Like I love this sort of Page of Swords quivering in a thunderstorm with, I don't know, there's something about the images that, I don't know, they're, I get a lot of, I guess what you call intuitive hits off of them. So yeah, I think this one might be my favorite of the year. And then I also have to show, I'm someone who, a lot of my decks, they have deck friends who are their best friends. And this deck's best friend is this oracle. It's the Marvelous Medieval Oracle, which is a French oracle. But it has these really cool backs. And it has the same exact borders, and they just make for really good companions. And I've been having a really good time with these guys. So I think, and I think I'll have fun. These are a good combo. I think going into the fall as well. And we've got our two little Melusian creatures here. Lovely, lovely. So yeah, I think those are my picks. I don't know if this oracle would be my kind of favorite of the year if it wasn't for being friends with the Solara Occulta, but I still really like it, and I think it's quite cute. Okay, the next question here is a new deck in your collection. And I've been either really good or really bad about decks this year, depending on your perspective and all of that. I feel like I've been really good because I've gotten a lot of really awesome decks this year, and I'm really stoked on a lot of them. But I've also gotten a lot of them in the first half of the year, more than I have in the previous years. I don't know why, but I have kind of a lot to choose from. Um, so I'm going to show you my two most recent decks. Again, this is one that I showed you guys in my last video that I was having a lot of fun with this summer, and that is the Mountain Dream Tarot. So this is kind of my second newest deck, and it's a photographic deck from the 70s, and it's giving me all of the summer vibes. And it's a little bit dreamy, it's a little bit vintage. It has this kind of like softness to it that I really like from the quality of the photos. So it's been getting a lot of good mileage. I'm debating whether or not I want to edge this one in the same kind of dark blue as the backs. What do you guys think? Have any of you guys edged this one? I can't decide if I want to do it or not. So this is a new one in my collection, and the other one, my newest deck that I just got, I'm really stoked about. Here's the box. This is a vintage deck from 1995. Here's the giant box it comes in. This is the Vertigo Tarot by DC Comics. So I found a first edition on eBay for a price that I was willing to go for it. This is the book. And the book is actually, one of the reasons I wanted to get it this year is that the book is written by Rachel Pollack. And I don't have a lot of her work, but I felt like I wanted to get some of her stuff after I heard about her passing. She's such kind of a, a tarot icon. And it has an introduction by Neil Gaiman, and the artwork is by Dave McKean. So this is, if you guys are familiar with the Sandman universe, this is a deck from that universe. I think it's the closest thing you could say I have to like a fandom deck. However, the artwork is kind of digital collage from the 90s, and I feel like it's ambiguous enough that if you didn't know it was related to, Vertigo Comics, you wouldn't know. These are the backs. I did edge them in this kind of dark aubergine color. So the borders themselves, I initially thought that they were black, but they are actually aubergine or eggplant or dark purple. And it has, I don't know, this is my new favorite goth girl deck. It with the font and everything, it's giving me, I don't know, it's giving me I just love it so much. I don't know. I've been using this deck a lot for either like dream work or kind of like nightmare stuff, because I feel like that's definitely what this deck is really good for. Like, this is maybe one of my favorite images of the Hanged Man ever. The only thing that I don't love about this deck is that I think the artist, Dave McKean, was the one who chose the astrological symbols for the majors, and they don't map up the kind of standard ones, so there's some kind of interesting choices. But other than that, I really love this deck. I love this like fossilized King of Pentacles. That really plays with my brain. So this has been my newest tarot treasure, and I'm so stoked about it. I've been having a really good time with this one. Yeah, it's just a very kind of, it's a strong vibe. Uh, they're really cool. So there's two versions of this deck, and they're both out of print. The second edition is on different cardstock. I think that one might have black edges, or black borders rather, and it's on a glossy cardstock. This cardstock is matte. It's not great cardstock. I don't think either of them have great cardstock. But if you're interested in getting this deck, just keep in mind that, yeah, the first edition comes in the big white box and has matte cardstock, and then the second edition comes in like a black box that has, I think it comes with like a little drawstring bag, and that has the glossy cardstock. But I digress. I've really been digging using this deck, and I need to get this deck some friends. I'm still figuring out its friends, but the friend I've been using with right now is the Sovereign Oracle, which is a great tiny little oracle. If you guys don't have this one, it's great to use as a spread machine, by which I mean you can draw different little words, and they can act as like what the card position could be. And the thing that I really like is, look at the backs. We've got little spirally guys on both of them, which I think is great. So if we did a little spread here, ooh, Knight of Pentacles, Five of Cups, Eight of Swords. If we do a little 3-card spread here, let's see what we got. We've got Experiment, Celebrate, and Listen. I don't know, something about the kind of the digital textures on these, I felt really went with this one. But I'm thinking it might be really good with the Fallen Angels Oracle. That it might be fun, or yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. But this is, I love this deck so much. I think this is like one of my new favorite decks. And yeah, this is my I guess my favorite like deck with darker imagery that I have found. And it feels really familiar to me. It feels really, I don't know. I was, I feel like I had a, in the early 2000s, I had a little bit of a goth phase, and this really, like the font and everything, just, I don't know, it makes, it's a good one. It's a good one. I'm really stoked about it. So that's my my newest deck. And then the next two questions, questions 3 and 4, I want to talk about together, because my most anticipated deck released this year also turned out to be my number 4 is What's Your Biggest Disappointment? So my most anticipated deck of the year is an oracle deck by Sasha Lopez called When Olga Speaks. I'll link, she has a YouTube channel, and she did a little flip through of the prototype, and it looks so cool. It looks so good. It looks incredible. I literally cannot wait for this oracle to come out. I feel like it's so hard for me to find an oracle deck that really works for me, and this one is like a really beautiful one. And she launched a Kickstarter campaign, and it didn't get fully funded, and I was like super gutted. And I think that she is going to take a little bit of a break, give it another go, maybe later this year. I'm not sure what her plans are for that, but yeah, that's the one I was like anticipating the most, and also I guess my biggest disappointment was that it didn't get funded. But since I can't really show you that, my other biggest or my most anticipated deck that came out this year was this one, the Trickster's Journey Tarot. I have a flip through of this on my channel if you're curious. I saw the majors from this deck on her Instagram years and years ago, and then she in the I think, yeah, during this was a pandemic project, and she fleshed it out into a full deck, and I think it's beautiful. And I think this is the only deck I've gotten this year that's actually been published this year. So I thought would also give this deck a little shout out. I think this is one of my favorite Chariot cards. I think it's so good. If you want to see more or hear my thoughts on it, I do have a flip through. And then my other deck that I got this year that I would say for number 4 is a biggest disappointment. Might actually be a surprise to some of you guys who have followed me for a while. If you've watched lots of my videos, you know I'm a huge fan of collage decks, and I'm also a huge fan of like 90s decks. And so I got Jumble Dance this year, thinking it would be a huge hit. Lots of people have recommended it to me. I've seen people do walkthroughs. I got excited. I edged it in this really funky green, which I really like. And then I've literally never used it. And I've flipped through it a whole bunch. I've taken a look, and I don't know if I get it. I don't know if it quite works. I think there's something that's a little bit like some of them I really like this deck in principle because it has everything I usually love in a deck. I think this is the card that convinced me to get it. As someone who is like raised as a Hare Krishna, this like Chaitanya Temperance card is like a huge nostalgia factor for me. But I just can't quite get into it, and I'm not ready to kind of let it go. But there's something about it that just feels, I don't know, I can't quite get into it. And I think it's some of them are just a little bit kind of, there's a big cheese factor with some of them. And they look like a lot of the Wands cards I have a hard time with, because they look so, I don't know, very arts and craftsy. Sorry, I'll try and stay in frame. Yeah, like, I don't know. I also really like pip decks, and this is a really interesting example of a pip deck. So like, I really should, I like the cups, but I think I like hate the wands, for whatever reason. I don't know. It's a funky one. So I was really looking forward to getting this deck because I thought it would be a big hit, but I don't know. I can't. I really don't like this card. I don't know why. I really, really, really hate the wands. So I guess but like, there's a few cards. I think this is just one of those decks that's like really, really inconsistent for me. Like, I love this Ten of Swords. The font isn't growing on me. I don't like the font. And I don't know. It's just one of those things where I thought this would be like a home run. And then it's like I can't stand a lot of the cards, and so maybe I'll change my mind. It is like a very playful deck, but I think I was a little disappointed that I don't know, didn't connect more. The next question here, number 5, is biggest surprise. So my biggest surprise of the year was that I found this tarot deck, Manzel's Tarot 2, or someone was selling it on Facebook Marketplace, and this is a deck that's been on my wish list since I had a tarot wish list, and it's been out of print for a long time. I think Marlena and a few other people, after I posted my unboxing of this, realized that he is still selling some old copies, I think, of a different edition of this deck on his website. And his website has been like broken for years. Anytime I tried to like buy a deck, it just wouldn't work. And so there might be a chance that you could still nab a copy, but I found someone willing to negotiate and sell this deck. And this is the edition that I really wanted. And it's an Afrofuturist deck, which I absolutely love. I think this is like a really important deck in tarot history. This isn't a deck that I have kind of used a lot for personal use, but as someone who's an anthropologist of tarot, and like I collect tarot decks as part of my research, like I think this is a really important deck in, recent tarot history. So I'm like so stoked to have a copy. And it was another deck that I was just like, nope, never gonna have this one. Too bad, so sad. And then I got a copy, and it was a huge surprise. And so I guess that's my most surprising deck of the year, was that it was like, oh, here you go, kiddo. I was like, sick. All right, excellent. Very stoked. Very stoked. So the next 2 questions are a deck that made you cry and a deck. Oh no, that's 7. I got mixed up. Number 6 is your deck crush. And I think my deck crush is this guy. I think it's every time I get it out, I love it so much. And this one is a Tarot de Marseille. It's just called El Tarot. Hold on a sec, let me show you the box. This is the big blue box that it comes in. If you're interested, you can search El Tarot by Diego Meldi. It's very popular in Latin America, but it's kind of hard to find someone selling it in the US, but you can find copies. And it's just so colorful and springtimey, and the colors are so good. Every time I get it out, I feel like, I don't know, I think I have a crush on this deck. Everyone's so cute in this deck, I think. Look at that, isn't that so cute? Yeah, I think this is, I think my one of my new favorite Tarot de Marseilles of all time. I think it's a big hit. And then the other super cute Tarot de Marseille that I got this summer was Tarot Classic. I found this. This is the vintage Stuart Kaplan deck from the 70s, but I found a copy on eBay for like $9. And this is another one where it's just like really cute pinks and blues and greens. I don't know. It's another, these are my my two little deck crushes right now. Yeah, definitely. This one is, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I think it's great. So those are my cute little deck crushes. Um, the next two prompts are a deck that made you sad, or a deck that made you cry, and then a deck that made you happy. Um, if I'm really really sad or really really overwhelmed, I don't tend to reach for tarot. Like I have a hard time. If I'm having a hard time, I'm just having a hard time, and um, so I decided to interpret these prompts a little bit differently. So for number 7, we're just doing a sad girl deck. Just in general, a sad girl deck. And for that, I had to pick the Gothic Tarot, which I got this year. And then also, this is the Graven Images Oracle, which is graveyard photography, and together they are my my very super sad girl decks. So that's my call. That's my call for this one, is if I'm feeling super moody, if I'm feeling very goth, then this is what I want for sure. And the oracle is just like it's a really good reader. And the Gothic Tarot is majors only, so it feels like I do need to use an oracle deck with it to kind of like fully flesh it out. But yeah, these are my sad girl my sad girl decks. We're doing a spooky girl summer over here. All right. And then next is decks that make you happy. So I've got 2 decks for this one as well. I can never just pick just one, but these decks are both like high fantasy decks, and they both just make me really really happy. So the first one I'll show you is this one. This is the Dragon Tarot by, I think, Nigel Suckling, and I heavily modded this deck. I added these backs, so I rebacked it, and then I did these crazy wild edges. So now it's quite thick because this is like a textured kind of deal. But I love it, and it makes me so happy. Like, look at this dragon. Oh, yeah, I really love this deck. It's a pip deck, and I think it's a really well done, beautiful pip deck. And if you lay out a lot of the minors sequentially, they'll form like one sort of tableau scene, which I think is great. And if you want to see how I modded this deck, I have a walkthrough journey of how I went about doing that. Look at the little dragon in a cup. Isn't he a cutie? Yeah, so this deck makes me very happy. And then the other deck that's also fantasy themed is ooh boy. I think it's a Russian deck that I found on Etsy through a Ukrainian seller. I think it's the Magical Tarot of Fate. But it has these repurposed fantasy images, and they similarly are just so fantastical that it makes me very, very happy. Look at the snarling wolves. You know, she's just got a head there, who, it's just so over the top, right? That it just it makes me very, very happy. Um, yeah, so those are my decks that have made me happy so far this year. And I made them cute little pouches, and the cute little pouches also make me happy. So it's a good feedback loop we've got going over here. Good feedback loop. All right, question number 9 is most beautiful deck. And once again, I couldn't just pick one, cause I'm a weirdo. Have too many decks. I don't know, no such thing. My most beautiful decks. I'm taking this in a kind of a, oh look, you can see me and the phone. Hey, you can say hello to yourselves. All right, breaking the fourth wall. That's weird. Um, Both of them are, I feel like, the Dolly Tarot and Daydreaming in C2. They both work with kind of your, European art museum kind of art. So it's very kind of Western ideas of beauty in both of these decks. But they are still both quite so beautiful. So Daydreaming in C2 is a collage deck, and it's really textured and layered. I think it's technically one of the most kind of interesting and successful collage decks I have. I think it's really, really very beautiful. So I think this is my most up there for my most beautiful deck of the year. And I know collage isn't for everybody, but I think this is a really, really, really beautiful one. I love this 3 of discs. I love the kind of the just impossible cathedral architecture going on. It's a very, very dreamy deck, and I think it's a very, very beautiful one as well. So it's definitely a candidate for my most beautiful deck of the year. And then the other one is just straight up the Dolly Tarot. And, I have mixed feelings about the human being that was Dolly, and what was going on with him. But I do think this is an incredibly beautiful deck. And I've gotten some really fun readings out of it. I think it's quite beautiful. Yeah, I love the yellows and the greens. I think he put himself in the deck a couple times, which I don't love. But I think it's a really, really. I love the minors a lot. Let's see if I can find any of my all-time favorite cards, because I have a few of those. There he is again. Peekaboo! Oh, this is a really good one. Anything with the butterfly wings are really good. I'm specifically looking. I love, the minors I really like. This one, I think, is one of my favorite cards in the deck. And the strength card is also one of my favorite cards. But yeah, those are my... Oh, and this 3 of Swords. This one's really good too. So those are my most beautiful decks of the year. And then that brings us to our 10th and final question, which is what deck do you want to have by the end of the year? And I've always got a wish list. It's seldom that I uh, well, I've never completely emptied my wish list, and that's okay. But I am feeling quite satiated, quite saturated. You've seen kind of the best hits of what I've gotten so far this year. It's been a really good year for new tarot decks. For me and Madame Bathsheba over here. Um, so I'm actually, there's not too many. There's not too many. And here I'm gonna say there's not too many, and then I'm gonna list like five. Uh, but there's none that I feel that I really need quite so urgently. A couple decks that I'm considering getting right now are um, I'm mostly interested in getting more Oracle. I have vastly more tarot decks in my collection than I do have Oracle decks. So there's two Oracles that I'm interested in getting, kind of mostly to work with the Vertigo Tarot, because the Vertigo is like quickly becoming a new like all-time favorite tarot deck, and there's a couple decks that I think would work really well with it. One is the Craft Decadence Oracle, which is over on Game Crafters, and the other is the Fallen Angels Oracle, which is mass market. So I'm thinking about getting those. And then I'm also feeling like I want to get if you guys know of any good like photography oracles, I'm feeling like I'm interested in those, and I think it would be fun to get some like nature themed photography stuff. So I'm one of the decks that's been on my wish list for a couple years now is the Rose Alchemy Oracle, because it has these beautiful little gold borders. There's pretty roses on them, and that looks like it would be fun. And then there's the Tree Spirit Wisdom Tarot, which is just photographs of trees, and that's a deck that has keywords. So even though it's a tarot, I feel like you could use it with the keywords. It could be used a little bit as an oracle. So those are some of the things I'm thinking about getting. So thank you all for joining me with this mid-year tarot tag. I feel like I've gotten some really excellent things this year. And sorry I've been a little bit absent in terms of I haven't been making videos quite so frequently. It's been a really busy summer for me, but I thought I would just hop on to kind of check in and let you know how my year's going. So thank you all, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.